Well, there are 7 of us girls that all work together at KTVK Channel 3 in a division called Below Marketing Solutions. It was brought together by a brilliant woman named Beth Reynolds, and I swear she strategically found each one of us 7 and put us all together because we formed this team. We put together multi-million-dollar campaigns and aired them through initiatives on Channel 3, and we were also really, really good friends. So one afternoon, like we usually would do once a week, we all went to lunch, and we went to Paradise Valley Z Tejas when it was open. And I remember we were laughing and giggling and having such a good time. And one of our girlfriends, Christy, the beautiful blonde with the blue eyes, the kind that you just stare at because she's so gorgeous, was eating her lunch, and her face started to droop. And I looked at her and I said, "Well, what's wrong with your face?" And she said, "I don't know, it keeps going numb." So we said, we got to get that checked out. So we had a good time, and we all got up, and we were getting ready to leave, and I pulled out my disposable camera out of my purse, and I said, let's get a picture of us. So, we all posed like everybody does. We took this picture. It would be the last picture that we would ever have all together. We returned back to Channel 3, and as Christy was walking up the stairs, she fell. And we looked and we said, "What is wrong?" She said, I can't feel the left side of my body. I can't feel my left arm. I can't feel my left leg." And we called the ambulance, and she was brought to the hospital. A few days later, her husband, Bob, called one of our girlfriends, Lori, and said, "Christy has 3 brain tumors, and they're all pushing down on the top of her spine." We took a deep breath. Okay, what does that mean? What it meant was our 27-year-old friend had stage 4 melanoma. Now, I thought, that's skin cancer. I mean, didn't you see Seinfeld and Pimple Popper MD? And, yeah, sure, she's saving lives. Well, as I Googled it and we all got together, stage 4 melanoma is the deadliest form of skin cancer and one of the deadliest forms of cancer in itself. So we thought, okay, what do we do? Well, over that time, that was July 4th of 2005, and over the next 6 months, Christy wouldn't see us, but she'd call us, she'd text us, and she'd say, "Girls, we'll get together when I'm better." And we would go to her house up in North Scottsdale and drop off little packages, and we'd text her, and she'd come out, or her mom would come out and get the packages and bring them in, and we'd call each other and say, "Mission accomplished, she got it." Well, during her struggle with cancer, I was going through my own struggle. I was going through a divorce with my college sweetheart, and we had been married for 6 years, and I didn't tell anybody, but I did tell Christy. And Christy would constantly call, and she would check in. "How are you, Molly? What can I do for you?" And I just thought, how selfless. Here she is going through cancer, and she's worried about me. Well, in January of 2006, she says, "We are going to have lunch together, and I can't wait. We're going to meet up at Z Tejas." A day before, she calls and says, "I'm not feeling well. Can we postpone it?" I said, "Absolutely." Well, a few weeks later go by, and all of us, 6 of us girls, are all together, and Lori, our kind of leader of our group, got a phone call from Bob. And he said, "Lori, tell the girls to come and say their goodbyes." So we all got together, we prepared what we were going to do, and then we got the call the next day that Christy had passed away. Our 28-year-old beautiful girl. She had been married for 1 year to her college sweetheart, whom they dated for 10 years, and we heard that story. Why wouldn't he propose to her? You remember that? And left Bob a widower at 29 years old. So over that time, all of us, 6 of us girls, got together and said, what can we do? What can we do? So we said, that's it. We're going to make sure Bob's taken care of. So some of us girls, the other girls, were married and some weren't. And so I knew through Channel 3, heck yeah, I get sports tickets to just about anything. And as a former sportscaster, I would call Bob and say, come with me to the Suns game. Let's go. Let's have a few beers. Let's cry. Let's laugh. Because we would talk about Christy. We would talk about my divorce. We would talk about life. We would talk about everything. So as each one of us girls would take turns taking Bob wherever he needed to go and being able to talk about Christy and the memories that we had with her, a year goes by, and I'm still calling Bob. And I'm still calling him saying, meet me at this bar because I'm about to lose it. And we would just talk and we would grieve. And a year goes by, like I said, and we went to one of my friends' weddings. And I still wore my wedding ring, even after a year, and Bob still wore his. We went to our friend's wedding, he was my guest, and we were sitting down, and we were working the table and, meeting everybody and doing everything that we do. And a couple of couples said, "Oh my gosh, you guys are the cutest couple." And we're like, we're not a couple, we're just best friends. And they said, "Well, and we're like, "Oh yeah, right," because Bob's perfect girl is a little tiny, petite blonde, right? And my perfect guy would be like 6'4". And so we kind of laughed that off. And as time went on, we just kept getting all of these signs, and we just loved being together. We were starting to fall in love, so we knew we had to call our 6 friends and bring them all into a room and talk to them about what was going on. One of my friends, Michelle, is here today, and she was in that room. And as we were talking with everybody about what was happening, Michelle's husband, while drinking a beer, said, "I saw this coming a long time ago." And everybody was, "No, really?" Even Bob and I were like, "There's no way." So they gave our blessings because, believe me, awkward, right? Totally freaking awkward. So as our life is growing together, my professional career at Channel 3 was going wonderfully. Well, that was during the time of 2008. It was the summer where pretty much the economy went to crap. And they were letting everyone go, cameramen to journalists. Well, the city of Surprise had called Channel 3 and said, "Can you please send out a sports team to come and cover this national tennis championship that's coming?" So I was literally pulled from behind the scenes. I hadn't been on TV for 4 years as a sportscaster, but they pulled me and said, "Can you go and cover this?" I said, "Great, where's the cameraman?" They said, "We don't have a cameraman for you." Well, I thought, there is no way I'm showing up with my own camera. So I called Bob. Bob's at work. I said, "Bob, I need you to be my cameraman." So he meets me at the City of Surprise, and he gets there and he goes, "Okay, Molly, where's the tripod?" I was like, "I didn't bring a tripod." So here he is for 2 hours shaking, and at this time he's the VP of finance for a company. He's like, "I don't even know what I'm doing." But I'm interviewing John McEnroe and Jim Courier, and then I start listening to the sponsor of this tennis championship, Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And I heard the CEO speak about this incredible place that was coming to the valley and going to be built in the west side. And then I got tapped on the shoulder, and it was the chief marketing officer, and his name was Jack Moore. And Jack said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, actually, I do all the marketing and promotions and community outreach for Channel 3 here in town, but they just need a camera person, so I'm here." So he gave me his card, and he said, "We're actually looking for a director of marketing for this new hospital." I said, "Wonderful, I'll tell all my friends." Well, we laughed that off, and Bob and I took off into the parking lot, and Bob stopped me, and he said, "You need to go for this." And I thought, what do I know about healthcare? He said, "Molly, you market, community outreach, you've been on TV, you've gotten people to watch the Angels over the Dodgers, or watch Channel 3 over Channel 12, and on. You can do this. And you have the passion because you saw what Christy went through." And I thought about it, went back to work. I started Googling everything I could possibly find on CTCAM. I literally made a binder this big that I still had, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And I said, I'm going for it. So I would keep in touch with Jack. I'd send him marketing examples, or where he should be on TV, or here's the plan I would do if I were you. So he came back to town a couple of weeks later, and he said, "Let's talk." Well, it was an interview. But the coolest part about the interview is we cried together. He told me about a boy that had died of cancer who had really impacted him, and I got to tell my story of Christy. And I was hired on July 8th of 2008. And I remember my first day, the hospital wasn't even built yet, and I thought, oh my gosh, what do I do now? And he said, fake it till you make it. And so I just started pulling everything I could possibly think of. What did I do when I was here? Or what do I do when I was there? I know consumer and direct consumer marketing. I can do this. So July 8th is when I started. August 19th, Bob proposed to me at the edge of the Grand Canyon. And 1 month later, on September 26th of 2008, we were married at Shoshone Point in the Grand Canyon. It was an unbelievable spiritual day. Now, 10 years later, I just hit my 10 years at Cancer Treatment Centers of America and my 10-year wedding anniversary to Bob. We have 2 beautiful children, Jackson, who is 7, Jacob, who is 5, and they're both blonde. Thanks, Christy. What am I, the nanny? Okay. They don't even look like me. I don't even know what's happening. But Bob and I talk all the, she put us together, and there's so many signs throughout our time together that she was always there with us. So before I was married, my maiden name was Molly Stockwell. Now my name is Molly Stockley. Christy passed away on February 16th at 9:03. My birthday is February 16th at 9:03. She's always been with us, but the neat part about this is I get to live a life that I've always dreamed of. I have a wonderful husband with children. I have a guardian angel. I love my job and my mission, it is not my job, and my passion is to find every cancer patient I can and help them with their journey, because every one of those people are my own Christy.